Welcome back. Here at home, less than a month from the city election, and Mayor Sylvester Turner is again deeply embroiled in controversy, this time over his pivotal role in the creation of a $95,000 a year internship for one Marvin Agumagu, a man he first claimed no knowledge of, but later conceded knowing in the face of overwhelming photographic evidence. The two had spent a significant amount of time together. Turner's critics call it a blatant example of cronyism at taxpayer expense.
$95,000 for an intern? We have a problem. The city of Houston and City Hall is for sale.
And this young man, because of some personal relationship with Sylvester, gets a job making more than 95% of the other city employees. City employees ought to be outraged about this.
And you have city employees that are emailing me daily, on the hour, complaining about how long they've been working and not earning that kind of salary.
But the mayor is defending Agumagu's no competition appointment as, quote, leadership development that's totally justified.
No rules, no policies at all violated. Why would you malign an individual like tonight? These millennials want a seat at the table. They want to work. There's nothing wrong. It's really disappointing.
Panel, we know there was no competition allowed for this job, so what do we make of this latest development? Charles Blaine, you've been following this.
Yeah, so the mayor just said the millennials want to see the table. I think he's completely wrong. We want the table turned over. And the reason is because this kind of corruption and graft and patronage that we see in urban governments is what we're sick of and why we don't get civically engaged. There are two major takeaways from this, and one is that he hired this guy during a citywide hiring freeze when he was telling every department head not to bring anybody on. And then the second thing is that he created this job, specially created this job for someone he knew, who we now know he had known for a very long time, and then he lied about knowing him until a report came out. He waited about 14 hours to issue a new press release. That's a big deal, and people need to remember that. Okay. Carmen Rowe, you're good at breaking down the facts. What's your take now?
I think this is a pattern and practice. I think this is the same corruption we've seen, that we've talked about here on the show involving Sylvester Turner, and we see the spin that he puts on all of it when he tries to explain or come up with new ideas about why he hired this individual, what his actual title was, whether it's in the grid for proper payment, etc. But no, I think this is the same corruption we've seen all along, and I think it's important to focus on how this happens continuously with him and how he spends it every single time to turn it into something it simply is not. Don't believe what your eyes see.
Okay, Michelle Maples, the city spokespeople say airport director had the authority to do this without competition, and this guy had a law degree and a master's, so maybe he qualified for this level of pay. You buy that?
With no airport experience, and this position sounds made up. An executive development internship. It sounds like he was like, well, what am I going to call this? Oh, development. Yep. $95,000 a year for an intern is crazy. The people of Houston, if they vote Mayor Turner back into office, then they're just not paying attention. This is a city who has a budget problem. We have an issue. We can't even pay our firefighters equal pay to police officers, but we can afford $95,000 internships. It's time for Houston to wake up.
Okay, Laura Moser, you kind of boned up on this issue. What's your take?
Well, first, I was definitely in the wrong internship programs in college. I missed the boat on that. Yeah, I mean, I'm consistent in it. I think it looks really bad. I think there's probably, just as with Donald Trump, things deserve investigation. I hate to make that comparison, but we have an election coming up. Voters deserve to know kind of what's happening here. It's not awesome looking. So, yeah, I think it's a real problem for the mayor. Okay. And I don't buy the explanation either. I love the millennials, though.
Okay. Bob Price, they say this is business as usual. This guy's super talented. We need to build leadership. You got a problem with it?
Well, it's certainly business as usual under the Turner administration and business as usual under City Hall for the past several decades. And hopefully the next mayor of Houston, who will not be Sylvester Turner, will find a way to clean this issue up. We've been hearing from the candidates about that, and we'll see. If the mayor wants to get millennials involved in city government, let's hire them where they're needed. Let's hire them as firefighters. Let's hire them as police officers. Let's put them out on the streets where they can provide public safety.
Okay, Tony Diaz.
Well, you know what? What the mayor did right in this case because it did look bad, but he humanized the issue. And what I would recommend to all the candidates is to put real people and tell us what's really going to happen. What he did is he released a list of other millennials who've been creating, a wave by coming in, new positions, well paid, and performing well. Some of them I've worked with. I think that's smart. What I'd like to see is every single candidate, instead of calling each other simply corrupt, and I know the mayor wants to look make the other candidates look like simply Republicans. I wonder, how are you helping Latinos? How are you helping millennials? I want specific names, numbers, and pictures of how you're going to actually help our community progress. Here's one way. You may have a beef with it. Of course, give others opportunities then.
Okay, we asked the mayor's office, the city, whether this particular executive level internship was unique or not, or whether there actually were others. And we're still waiting for that answer. Charles, what are you hearing?
It's unique. I mean, this was crafted from a few emails between department heads and people in the mayor's office. And if you want to talk about real people, let's talk about real people. The median household income in the city is $49,000. He hired this guy with no experience in an internship to get paid $95,000 while people in Houston are struggling to get by to pay their bills. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. There is no cutting this any other way. I don't care if you're talking about millennials or anybody else. There's no cutting this. There's nothing good about this. But yes, I am not hearing good things. This is certainly something that was crafted out of the mayor's office. He can try to, spin it however he wants, issue press releases however he wants, but the facts point to where they point, and this is pretty ugly. Okay, Carmen Rowe, I know your antenna as a really good attorney. The fact here that there's so much evidence that they had an outside the office kind of I guess relationship, or at least that they were in the same room a bunch. Does that intrigue you?
Absolutely. I mean, consciousness of guilt is a thing in the law, and I think he's very conscious of the guilt associated with this relationship. And as much as he denied knowing this young man, the question was quite clear from the reporter. He acted like he'd never heard of him before in his life. And then he comes back later and says, I was busy. I didn't understand the question. This is a man he's known for years. I mean, if you ask me if I know Greg Grugan, I'm going to say, yes, I do. So again, it's one of those things where it's like, this is Sylvester Turner in real time. This is everything you need to know about this man and his administration.
Michelle, you feel the same way?
I do. I absolutely do. I mean, even the Turner supporters are having a hard time with this one because there was absolutely no reason. This position was created out of thin air. It is like he looked at this individual and said, I'm going to get you a good job. I'm going to take care of you. And 20 days later, there's a $95,000 internship. It goes to show it's time for a new mayor, gang.
Final thought?
Sure. Actually, 95 G's is good for a beginning job. That's not like a corrupt. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, but he's got a lot of
Let me stop. Are you're an educator teaching at the college level. How many professors do you know that don't make $95K?
Not a lot, but guess what? He does make more than a person with a master's degree. So a person with a master's degree will make a certain level. People with PhD, law degree, criminal degree.
Internship.
Now, I'm not saying it doesn't look bad, but what I'm saying is that if you have the crown, you can do these things. So that's what's up. Vote for who you like, and when you come in, pick who you want.
That's how government should work. Okay.